All right, I'm live. I think I'm live. All right, everyone, welcome back. Another episode here of Bitcoin Weekly, my Bitcoin chart analysis here that I do. The chat is open, but the chat is open for members only. So if you're a silver member, gold member, or a platinum member, you'll be able to chat in the live chat. Or if you're a moderator, you'll also be able to chat as well. So looks like I have a few people watching. No one's left a chat yet, which is fine. So if you haven't seen the title of the thumbnail, which I think this is the thumbnail right here. When pump? When is this thing gonna pump? Today is Tuesday, April 4th, 2023. So when is this thing gonna pump? Well, I don't really know. I would have to say that it's probably pumping now, but unfortunately, when it comes to chart analysis, it's always hindsight 2020. Everything can be explained after it's happened, but not before it's happened. And the reason why that is no one can predict the future unless they have some kind of inside information. And even with the inside information, that information's limited to a certain time limit. No one can predict the future, therefore, um, nobody is going to get rich off their own chart analysis. What they can do is, however, is get you to believe that they can predict the future, and you would buy into their course or into their program or some nonsense like that. More people make money off of teaching how to chart analysis than they actually do trading. Before I begin, let me put this up here. It's a QR code. It is my Bitcoin address. If you find this information useful, please feel free to donate because I think the pump is coming. So any small, tiny amount of any Bitcoin that you have to offer is greatly appreciated. So when the pump does come, I can enjoy the benefits of it as well. So, all right. So you're probably wondering what the chart analysis is this week. No problem. No problem. Again, today's Tuesday, April 4th. I hope everybody enjoyed their April Fools. All right, let's go move on to the chart here. This is where I last left off. Last left off right here. If you don't know where I got these lines or where these lines came from, I'll just redo them again so you could see for yourself. Let's have a look here. Tools, let's just delete everything. Let's look at the most recent. This is a 1-week chart on bitcoinwisdom.io. I will simply just make a simple line that represents the bear market right there. You usually draw from the top. Some people like to make channels. Let's see if I can make a clone. Can I clone? Yes, I cloned it. Why won't it let me clone? Okay, it won't let me clone. Whatever. Doesn't really matter. This chart is limited, but I like using it because it's simple. Hey, Gellert, how are you? Do I mine Bitcoin? Do I mine Bitcoin? No, I don't mine any Bitcoin because it is extremely difficult to mine Bitcoin. to mine Bitcoin now, you would need to buy an ant miner, typically an ant miner, and then you would have to join a mining pool. But if you try to mine Bitcoin with one ant miner, you're wasting your time and money. Usually, what people do is if they are an, a single miner or a home miner, they will mine in a pool. So they will direct their mining power to a pool, and whatever that pool of miners, whatever Bitcoin they do find, they split that proportionally to the hashing power, So with one miner, it's very small. It's a fractional amount of the hashing power of a mining pool. You would get fractional amounts of Bitcoin. It costs for the maybe $1,000, maybe $1,500. It could be more, probably $2,000 to buy a mining rig. So what I would recommend is you would just buy Bitcoin for $2,000. That's probably way easier. And your second question is, you just won a Bitcoin. I don't know if I just won a Bitcoin. I don't have anything. I don't have any cryptocurrency. I used to, but I now am retired from Bitcoin trading and the cryptocurrency. I I guess you could say I've put out I put a lot of effort into spreading the use of Bitcoin because I used to trade in real life. So, but thanks for stopping by, Gillard. Appreciate it. All right, so back to the chart analysis. Okay, so um, like I was saying, a lot of people who do chart analysis don't make money trading. They make money selling their charts or their analyses. If they were very good at trading, if their trade analysis was good enough to trade on, they wouldn't be giving it out. They wouldn't give out that information. They would be trading. So just be wary of people who promote trades or who do chart analysis, including myself. So anyways, so that this line here represents the bear market of from the recent all-time high to all the way to, what date is this? Last year, November 11th, 2022, and it's been going straight. And then now we're going up to looks like a beginning of a new beginning of a bull market. You'll see the two lines. If you're wondering what these two lines are, the yellow line represents a 30 period average. When I say 30 period, it means 30 candlesticks, and this is the weekly, that's 30 weeks. The white line, I'm not sure, 100% sure, but my assumption is that the white lines represent a 10 period average, so 10-week average. And you can see it reacts a little bit more closely to the price than it does with the yellow line. Typically, when these two lines cross, usually the shorter period average crossing over into the longer period average, it's usually the death cross, like right here in this area would be the death cross. But as you look over here, you'll see that the shorter period average is crossed over the longer period average. People usually call this the golden cross because it usually represents a bullish sentiment. So we have two things that are going on. We have this trend line, this line, and the price going beyond and breaking through this line, representing the end of the bear market. We have the price going straight for a long time. That is very flat. And now you have the two average lines crossing over, representing a golden cross. Usually indicates a bullish sentiment, and possibly we could be at the beginning of a bull market, which coincides to the halving, which coincides to, if you know anything about the halvening, that's where the I don't know how to say it, the reward for mining is half. I don't know what it is. It's like 3 1/4. Maybe it's gonna be, it's like 6 1/2 or 6 1/4. It's gonna be 3 1/4 or three and something. Anyways, the reward is half the amount, so it restricts the supply. And when the supply is restricted, or there's not enough supply and the demand is the same, or the demand goes up with restricted supply, the price usually goes up, and vice versa. When there's a oversupply and less demand, or the demand stays the same, or there is less, I should say when the supply is the same but the demand is less, the price will go down. So that's what's going on here. You're seeing this flat area, price can be very flat, in my opinion, is the street market. The street market is buying up the price, and when the street market, the activity of trading outside of the exchanges, when bitcoins dry up, people are forced to go to the exchanges. Once you go to the exchanges, the, it drives up the price, and that's what you're seeing. So the people who have already bought at the street level, they're now having to buy at the exchanges. And once that happens, you'll start seeing that price start to go up. The miners may be selling on the exchanges, or they may be selling directly out into the streets. Depends. All right, so that's that. Where I'm getting the Fibonacci fans is basically from this top trend line to here, and then I'm getting my fan lines. And from here you can see an idea of, I think, where the pump is going to happen. And you'll see the first one right here. You'll see that the price has gone up, and it's interesting how the fan lines work out. Right about here, as it drops down in price, breaks through this fan line. Now it's going straight, so it looks like there's at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3 to 5 more weeks that it may stay in this, within this fan line area between these two lines before breaking out. Usually what happens, it will break out of this fan line right here and then hit up against this final fan line. And usually between this final fan line, now it doesn't mean it's going to just continually break up. It may just follow the line going down and then break out of there, hit up against this final fan line, and then follow it going down until at a certain point, which I do think it will be, or possibly could be, around November to March. Anywhere that time frame, November to March. So November of 2023, all the way to March of 2024, because the halvening is estimated to happen in the month of March. But what usually happens is the price typically will start going up in value before the actual halvening. It's been happening before that date, before the actual halvening date. What I've noticed is for every halvening, the price has been increasing more. The price has gone up more before the halvening date. I remember at a time it would happen around that, the month of March, or the month of the halvening, the actual halvening, to when it the actual halving when it occurred. And ever since then, I've noticed it, the price is increasing way before the actual date of the halving. So it wouldn't surprise me that the price just starts going up from here and uh, going up and peaking out. And what I've noticed is that usually around the halving or after the halving, the prices really peak out to an all-time high. And then after the halving, sometimes they'll last a few years, but the market will adjust for the new reduction in supply. The prices will adjust. Demand will go down, and then there will be a oversupply, if I can say that. There's not really an oversupply. What happens is just that the demand has peaked out, and once the demand peaks out, the supply is normalized because people will start dumping their coins, and then you'll start getting a more coins in the market than there was before. That usually drives down the price, and that's the cycle. So if you're smart, you understand how things work, you'll understand that the price will go up. The price will go up. Once it reaches its peak, then the price will go down. So let's do some analysis. And if you're wondering why is the price stalling out in at this particular area, well, if I put a line here where I think the the support areas become resistance, and then the resistance areas become the support. Okay. Another support area, probably right here. This is a support, this is the resistance. And then this is another resistance, and then all-time high will be another resistance. And ironically, if you put in a Fibonacci, what are this, Fibonacci retracements, you'll find that they will almost match up. You see that? So if I put that there, there's two areas. You see this line right here, this line right here, almost match up to the retracement, Fibonacci retracements. Not exactly, but very close. Look at that. So everything kind of coincides. They tend, when everything matches up and all your technical analysis kind of match up or point to a direction, and that direction is a bull market, there's a really good chance it is a bull market. Do I think it's going to just go up in a straight line? No, it's not. There's going to be some retracement levels. There will be pullbacks. But overall, will it pump? Yes, it will pump. Unfortunately, um, no one can tell you when it's going to pump. No one is going to tell you when it's going to crash. If they could, they would not tell you, first of all. They would actually be trading themselves and keeping it a secret. So don't fall for technical analysis that will tell you everything. There's just no way. What I'm trying to show you is that if you have enough time, if you put enough time, and if you have enough experience, and you understand the way, if you understand the way Bitcoin works and how it functions, and a simple supply and demand will dictate its pricing, then you'll know when to buy, how long to hold. My personal opinion is that you hold for the long run. You hold, um, you hodl, and hodling is basically uh, it's a misspelled word for hold. Anyways, uh, just buy and hold. Buy and hold for like 5 years. You'll you'll probably better off than many other people who are trading, who go in and out of trades. You'll probably be richer than those people because those people don't. All right, they just do not make much of a return versus people who are long-term holders because they usually think they sell at the top. Since I've been around, people have told me they've sold at the top at $1,000 when Bitcoin was $1,000. Now, when I look at these people, I think those people are idiots because they sold, quote unquote, at the top. Well, if you look at what the price of Bitcoin is now, and we're at the bottom of this bear market and at the bottom of the beginning of this bull market that's going to come up, selling at 1,000 was a stupid move. So people who trade and they say they sell at the top and they buy at the bottom, I I, I really doubt that because they would be extremely rich by now, but they're not. They're the only way they make money is selling courses on how to trade. Anyway, so let me return back to all right this picture here or here. So when is this gonna pump? When is it gonna pump? Well, I don't know. I think we're starting to see the beginning, the early stages, the early beginning of the pump, and it starts off very small. And it's not just one pump; it's several pumps. But unfortunately, when you look at it, hindsight 2020, it looks like one huge pump. But when it's happening, when the pump is happening, or when the series of pumps are happening, they look like waves. Okay, they look like waves, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So let's get rid of all this. So let's just look at the past, and this was the run up to the last all-time high. If you look around here, that this whole thing looks like a one big pump, right? If you look at the whole thing, it looks like one big pump, and it is. But when it was happening, okay, during the time when it was happening, this is what it looked like at the chart at that time. It's a whole series of pump and dumps. And when people want to know when is the next pump, when's the next pump, they're talking about this. They're talking about short-term trading. You can see a low of 3,000 to a high of 13. They're talking about this kind of pump. But if I pull back, see a lot of people they end up selling at the top, right? This 13,000. They'll say, "Oh, I sold at the top. I made out." Well, did they? Because look how stupid they look if they just held on and waited, and they could have sold at the real top. This isn't even the real top if you think about it, but of 65,000. So it's a series of pumps. Let's go back even further. Here's another one. Here's the one at 19,000 or 20,000. And if you look at this whole thing looks like one pump, right? One huge pump. Well, at the time before this is what it looked like. So you got a low of $162 and the high of 789. You don't realize how much of a pump you're in until you see it all the way through to the end. And if you look at this, it doesn't look like anything, does it? There's no pump here. until you see it like this. So my point is, when is it going to pump? What you're seeing now is probably the very early stages, the end of a bear market and the beginning of the range into the bear market. And so when you look at it, you we don't even see it. You're probably looking at it like this, and you're seeing 1500 and you're seeing 30,000. You're saying, wow, it doubled in price. We're at the top. Well, you have to wait it out until you see the larger picture to see the massive pump that is going to happen. So when people want to say when's the next pump, often they think too often of a short-term pump, and they think they sold at the top. There's probably a lot of people who probably sold here around 29,000 thinking, they doubled their money, when in reality, later on, and over a longer period of time, they're going to look like fools because they sold too early. And that's what usually does happen. So when is the pump? When is the pump? You won't know until after it happens. And when it does happen, it looks huge. It is a very big pump. You're not looking, the pump that we are seeing right now from the low of the 15,000 all the way up to almost 30,000. That's not the pump. That is simply just price action movement. That's how much the price will swing easily. And if you look at it, it's not a lot either. It's the swing. It's like saying I went from 1 penny to 2 cents. It doubled, but it's not a big deal because if you realize how much valuable or the value or the price, what the price is going to be, going from 15 to 30 is not a big move considering where the price will go. It can easily go to 100, 200, $300,000. So 30,000 or 300,000, I mean, you pick the price where you want to be at. But if you ask me, I would rather be at 300,000 than 30,000 if I was to sell, quote unquote, at the top. All right. All right. So again, here is my address. Feel free to donate if you appreciate some of my commentary on the charts and give you insight into what it's really like to trade and some of the things you should watch out for once you start trading and get into the market. I do this once a week. I'll tell you the things that I know, some experiences that I have that may help you and guide you through if you ever get into the cryptocurrency market. It's often riddled with so much misinformation, disinformation, um, FOMOing. FOMOing is the worst. Usually happens a lot during the bull markets. And then coping, a lot of coping. That often happens during the bear markets. A lot of scams will be coming out. Usually they're Ponzi schemes or they're straight up just altcoins, mostly altcoins. Um, just a lot of ridiculous stuff. But there you go. Feel free to donate. That is my donation address. Go ahead and take your wallet. Let's give it a scan. Test out your new wallet. Okay, so what do I think is going to happen near term? Let me just pull out here. Let's just draw the lines here. I'll draw them again. Let's see here. All right. There's a time frame I do have in mind. So the time frame is November, around the month of November, because usually anywhere from 3 to 6 months you'll start to see the price. I've noticed the price starts to hit the all-time high before the actual halvening. So I think it's going to hold true this halvening as well. Um, from here all the way till November seems like a long time, but if when you pull back and you look at it weekly, it's not very far. There will be ups and downs. I think that eventually there probably will be the price will obviously go down, and then we'll have a pump, we'll have a dump, and after that initial dump, there may be a few more pump and dumps, but eventually the price will start skyrocketing again. And if you haven't got in by then, you're probably going to get caught up into the hype, which is unfortunate because those are the people who often get taken for a ride. So you should probably get in now and before the pump starts happening, the large pump, the bigger, before it reaches the all-time high. When it reaches an all-time high, um, just be careful not to buy into the hype. Everyone will start hyping it up like crazy. So right now, I do think short term, it looks like the buyers are exhausted, and most likely there will be a sell-off. How many more weeks? I don't know. I think 3 to 4 more weeks. We'll see how it goes, but I think the buyers are exhausted just by the candlesticks. It looks like it's going sideways. There could be an exhaustion of buyers. We'll have to see how the price adjusts. I do think the price probably will go down before going back up. And it'll probably coincide along with this Fibonacci fan line right here in particular. This Fibonacci fan line in here in particular, I think it will follow this Fibonacci fan line, break out of that. Probably after it breaks out of that, you'll see the pump again, and then it'll follow this final Fibonacci fan line. And I think this price is important. This price line, this price level right here is important. It represents this resistance back out here. And the next resistance will be this price right here, which is about 40, 48,000, 50,000 area. That'll be the next breakout price target. But I think it's probably going to happen maybe around November till the next halvening. And then once the next halvening occurs and the supply gets reduced, that's when you'll see the all-time high price, which would be this all-time price high, which will happen in March, next March, this time frame area right here. You'll probably see the price a new all-time high for sure. I'm very sure of it. It just happens every year, every time after the halvening. All right, so there you go. That's my weekly Bitcoin chart analysis. This week it looks flat. I don't think it's. I think there may be one more shot to push up higher. I'll be surprised if it breaks through. There's probably got to be some news, but right now it looks like the buyers are exhausted, but they're holding. They're not selling yet. We'll see if it breaks up, but I think it's going to follow this trend line a little bit before it breaks out again. All right, so this concludes my weekly chart analysis. Thanks for watching. Thank you, Gellert, for being in the live stream. Only members can leave a comment in the live stream. Thanks for stopping by, Gellert. Gellert is a gold member. I appreciate it. And if anybody feels like they want to become a member, you're more than welcome to. You'll be able to leave a comment. Until next time, everyone, I will see you next week for the next live Bitcoin chart analysis. Thank you. Bye.